I'm going to compare the CRT and the OLED in motion clarity on this video, and also the colors. So let's take a look at this blue, very saturated blue for the night. The OLED looks a little bit more desaturated. In front of me, let me describe it, because on the recording they look about the same. In front of me, this looks like purple, like it's a bluish, closer to purple, and this one on the CRT looks darker. It's a darker purple. But on the other hand, when you open the game, the sky on the CRT looks more like, you know, the blue you get on a pool. So it's like a pool blue instead of you know, bluish, a more bluish sky. So basically I have both at 100 hertz. So the OLED is at 100 hertz, and it's a custom resolution, like 2048 by 1536, I think it is. By the way, I was trying to do a video comparison, CRT, IPS, plasma, but it was too much. So let me start with this. So let's take a look at the colors first, and I'm gonna talk about the motion clarity. So we see what the problem with this HLG trick is, okay? Because I have the OLED with HLG tone mapping on, native 50 150, and, you know, Motion Pro, so I can get that motion resolution. So we see, for example, on the CRT, by the way, on the recording it looks warmer than in front of me, but I'm gonna describe it to you. So basically the differences are, these greens are more saturated on the CRT. If you look at that on the OLED, you can see the greens are less saturated, and a lot more desaturated actually than what you see on the video. On the video they look a lot more saturated than in front of me. And on the other hand, you can see on the character, I see a red push. I see that red push on the character. The skin is looking a little bit red. So if we look at the CRT, that skin is white. It's closer to white. It looks more natural. It looks more natural. Looks better. That skin looks more correct on the CRT. That's because my setting is wrong. That's what it is. I have to fix it. So let's take a look at the sky. The sky on the recording, again, for some reason it's looking warmer than in front of me. That's not the color I see in front of me. This looks like a beautiful sky blue on the CRT, and with my setting on the OLED, this sky is looking more saturated. It doesn't look bad, it doesn't look terribly bad, but it is more saturated, especially when I look at the sky closer to the sun. It is a lot more blue. Actually, I would say the sky is looking a little bit purple in comparison. This one is looking more like a beautiful, on the CRT is looking more like a beautiful softer blue, and I don't see that purple tint basically on the CRT. So that's what I'm trying to fix with my settings. That's what I have to figure out, how to get rid of that red push, and how can I make those greens more a little bit more saturated, and, you know, make that sky blue more beautiful. So let's take a look at the motion resolution. Rely on my description for everything, because I mean the recording is never gonna be you know, what I see in front of me. That's impossible. But let me tell you, at 100 frames, the CRT motion resolution, I'm looking at both back and forth, and I can tell you for sure, without a doubt, the CRT has a better motion resolution at 100 hertz, but it is clearly superior. When I do this, the motion resolution is clearly superior. The OLED is good. That motion resolution on the OLED is good with black frame insertion at 100 Hertz, which it does work. For some reason, the OLED black frame insertion, this LG C1 works at 60, at 100, and 120. And actually, I do feel the difference between 100 and 120. But comparing at the same refresh, the CRT is better. So now, let's see if I can notice any difference on the input lag. This is gonna be a lot more difficult. Jump, 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 jump. No, 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 no. It's... No, I cannot see. I cannot notice the difference. Sometimes people ask me, hey, what about input lag with black frame insertion? There's no added input lag. Not at all. If you use G-Sync, you use NVIDIA ultra low latency. I am using NVIDIA ultra low latency right now with black frame insertion. So I don't see any lag. It's exactly the same as the CRT, as far as I can tell. So yeah, I'm gonna do part 2 showing the CRT only on this game, this kind of cartoonish games. The CRT is just made for it. It just looks perfect. So I'm gonna do part 2 just focusing on the CRT. And for the OLED, that's what I'm trying to figure out. How can I get rid of that red push, which I can see clearly on that skin, and it doesn't look correct. It doesn't look bad, but it doesn't look correct. And the blue for the sky, on the recording is looking a lot worse. In front of me, it doesn't look bad, but I do notice, because the sky gets more saturated closer to the sun. So when you get closer to the sun, the sky surrounding the sun, I do see that it has like a purple tint or something. It's looking a little bit purple. So the colors are not perfect. With my color recommendation, it is not perfect. So I have to figure it out. We'll figure it out for sure. But you know, I would do whatever it takes to get this motion resolution, because it is very good. Not better than the CRT though. It is not better. So yeah, watch part 2. I talk about in part 2 only the CRT and show you that